Hello everybody, this is Peter the Rock. There is my shadow, and I thought I'd take this little video because it's the hottest day of the year so far, as you can see by the blue sky. I just wanted to illustrate one of my favourite walks, well, just a fraction of it. I'm in a place called St Andrew's Park, which used to be RAF Uxbridge and ceased to be that about 10 years ago, perhaps a bit more, and the place is full of houses now, which is rather nice. Now this is we're going down towards, well, no one calls it that, but it's the River Pinn Valley. Now when it ceased to be RAF Uxbridge, I think it was, they call it decommissioned. Of course, there are lots of mature trees still in the place, and they kept them, and they kind of built the road system, the housing system around those trees, which is rather nice. I mean, here, for example, is an avenue of trees. It's a rather short avenue, but they're maintained. I'm sure they had to get rid of one or two mature trees, but it's not that obvious. I think they must have maintained about 99% of them. Now, people still call it probably RAF Uxbridge, but of course it's St Andrew's Park. And all the roads and walks and the rest of it have a name, and they're named after people who were prominent in the World War II Battle of Britain. For example, this little path, it's no more than a path, and it's reinforced in case an emergency vehicle has to get along here. It's named Nicholson Walk after Wing Commander Eric James Brindley Nicholson VC DFC. It's just slightly unusual for a Wing Commander to get a VC. The only fighter pilot to be awarded, to be awarded the Victoria Cross in the Second World War. Well, it's not only unusual, it's unique. So, well done, Eric. Now, this is a point of departure for various paths in various directions. Now, what I'm going to do is show you the most interesting one. There is a signpost up here to get bearings. There are no real "you are here's" in this park, but the signposts tell you where you are. So I'm heading towards the Celadine route, which is really sort of roughly follows the River Pinn, which is quite a long river. It rises, I think, north of Pinner. I've just come from Churchill Road. We know who that was named after. And there's Brunel University in that direction. So rather nice, and it being a very hot day and it being, well, 5:45 in the evening, there aren't many people about. Now, it claimed when they first sort of started building on this park there'd be 40 acres of recreational ground. That may well be true, but it's since changed to 32 acres, and there are patches like this which are sort of semi-untamed. There's been a fashion for wilding or rewilding the last few years, and I think that's what's going on here. A lot of the parks locally are kind of, I'd call them manicured. You know, they have wild bits and mown bits, whereas previously it always used to be all mown. Anyway, this little walk, it's almost a secret walk, and I discovered it by accident when I first came into this park. Well, when the COVID restrictions were just starting to be really diminished at the end of 2020, and it's a very pleasant surprise. This little wooden bridge is over the River Pinn, which I hope you can see the reflection. not flowing much, there hasn't been much rainfall. Behind it, through the trees, is Hillingdon Golf Course. There's looking upstream. Hillingdon Golf Course is interesting because it's not an 18-hole golf course, and most of them are. It's a 9-hole golf course, but it's got a limited footprint or land area, so they made it into 2 overlapping 9-hole golf courses. I've never played golf on it, but I imagine that each hole has distinct tees depending on your hole number 1 or hole number 10 or that sort of thing. Now sometimes I hear the crack of a drive through the trees, but it's very difficult to see any golfers, and of course the fence is quite forbidding. They don't really want people to get onto the course through the back way. This is a very pleasant little walk, this bit. We're alongside the River Pinn, which is always quite a narrow, small river, and as with all rivers, it's sometimes flowing rapidly, but mostly not. And I'm just coming up to perhaps the last and perhaps more interesting feature of this little walk through the woods, which is just at this bend here. Now this part of the path is quite frequently very, very boggy, almost impossible to navigate through, but not today. Here is a kind of a bunker entrance, and this is something to do with World War II, the Battle of Britain. There's a very strange sort of almost shield thing there, and I think it's actually, yes, it's actually got a Yale key lock in it. So I presume it was built, no cameras, but I assume it's something to do with the big building behind it, which is it's now a museum to the Battle of Britain, and obviously was a major defence building in World War II. The Battle of Britain, for those of you who don't know, took part in 1940, and it was between the German Messerschmitts and the British. Well, I'd hesitate to say Spitfires because there were other planes involved as well. I'm far too young to remember it, but I did get a job once as a student as a film extra, and when the film The Battle of Britain was made, with people like Michael Caine, Larry Olivier, Susanna York, all sorts of big names appeared in this film. And do I get any credit for it? No. But then I'm not one for seeking fame and fortune, as you know, dear viewers. So this is very pleasant. And it's nicely constructed, this walk. You can see on the ground it's kind of bark scattered everywhere to stop the ground becoming stop plants growing up through it, or foliage growing up through it, and it makes it easier to maintain. So looking back, as you can see, that there are little sort of interesting things to see in the wood. In fact, there are 2 beautiful butterflies ahead of me just now, which I've just missed filming for some reason. The day is Friday, the 19th of July. It's about 5 to 6 in the evening, because the day is the hottest day of the year by far, about 30 degrees C, I think, and only mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun. A famous song that was. Well, I'm neither, well, I am a mad, oh, forget it. Anyway, this just gives you a view of part of one of my favourite walks, and I'll stop there, I think. thanks a lot for watching. Peter the Rock. It's Friday the 19th of July. Cheers.